So like all the Toguard products, actually comes really nicely packaged. On the top you've got the camera itself, in the back of the mirror, and then inside you've got your rear camera assembly, the power cable that plugs into a 12-volt power outlet, and then these are your fitting tools. So this blue one is really useful for pushing the wires down the sides of the panels, and then these rubber mounts are what we use to put the main camera over the top of the car's rearview mirror, and then the sticky pads are what you use to attach the rear camera if you want to mount it internally. If not, you've actually got screws if you want to go ahead and drill holes in your car and fix it more permanently. And obviously instruction manual, sticker for your rear windscreen if you fancy it. And then this is something I really wanted to point out. First of all, the support at Toguard, I've contacted them in the past when I had a problem with one of my cameras. It wasn't the camera's fault, it was my fault, I broke it. And they're incredibly helpful, but something that caught my eye. I don't know how long I'm going to do this for. This was bought off of Amazon, but essentially what this says is, if you go ahead and leave them an Amazon review of this product and then send the details to them, they'll send you your choice of one of these 3 free gifts. I imagine in the UK the one that will be most interesting, because we don't really have huge trucks, would be this SD card, but 32 gig class 10 micro SD card. It saves you buying one, right? So that's a nice touch. I don't know how long they're going to keep this going for. This is a very new camera. It's only just been released, I think, so it might be a short-term thing, but definitely worth bearing that in mind. If you buy it from Amazon, just look out for that, and you might be able to get a free gift. Here's the 8-inch Toguard review mirror dash cam mounted. This is in my mum's car. She wanted to give one a try. She's never had one before, so she's just sort of testing it out and seeing how she gets on with it for now. So just to show you quickly, as a sort of short-term solution, I've currently got it wired into the cigarette lighter output port. The cable then goes down under the map. It's ducted in through the seals in the car door, up through the side, and then under the top of the windscreen here, and in through the top of the mirror. And then the second cable you can see here is then ducted along the inside of the seals, and that goes right the way to the back. So you can see that little black thing hanging down is the rear view camera. So it's not the best fitting job at the moment, but if she decides she wants to go ahead and keep it, then I will probably look to wire it in a bit more permanently. So let's go ahead and fire this up. So the way the camera is set up at the moment is when we put the ignition in, like so, the camera should automatically come focused. You can see this is a slightly different interface to the one you get on the 7-inch camera. Down the bottom you've got your button for the recording, but once you've got the SD card in there, it will automatically just start recording when you turn the ignition on. This one here is for if you want to mute or turn on the audio recording in the car, and this button here is if you want to lock a video. So it's a video that you don't want to be automatically overwritten in the cycle for whatever reason, you just press that button there and it will lock the video. Over on the left hand side of the screen you've got your various icons showing what's turned on. So at the moment it's on 1080p. The little security camera here shows the parking mode set, and we'll talk about all that in a second. 3-minute cycle, so on and so forth. Okay, so if you come over this side you've got 3 buttons. So you've got your settings, taking a photograph, which I'm not sure what you need, and your home. If you have a look in the settings, they're all fairly self-explanatory, to be honest. Resolution, just stick on 1080p, you want the highest resolution you can get, right? Dual record, so that you're recording both cameras. Cycle, that's the length of each rolling cycle it records, so I've currently got it set to 3 minutes. So it will record the files in 3-minute blocks, and when the memory card's full it will then start overwriting the original 3-minute videos and so on and so forth. License is a bit of a weird one, I really don't understand this. Essentially it lets you put in your number plate, and you do that through the settings in home, and then it will put your number plate as like a stamp on the video, presumably to prove that the video is yours. Not quite sure why I'd want to do that, but there we go. HDR, I don't even understand why this is a setting. HDR, turn it on, leave it on, it gives you a better picture quality. Exposure is just your camera exposure. Parking guard is really useful. So this is switched on at the moment. What will happen is, even when the car's switched off, the G meter will be keeping, just keeping an eye on things. And if it feels an impact, for example, someone bumps you in the car park, it will automatically turn on both the cameras, and it will record 30 seconds of video for you. So that could be really useful if something was to happen along those lines. The date timestamps, so that is just if you want the date shown on the videos. The G sensor, so this is the sensor which automatically locks the video in the event of an impact. So at the moment it's set to close. You probably want this set on medium to start with, I would say. If you find it locks the videos all the time, then you might want to go to high. Sensitivity, I would steer clear of low sensitivity, because you don't want it to be that you have, something happens and it doesn't lock the video. And then sound is just whether or not you're recording audio inside the cabin. It's a personal choice. I always leave it on, just in case I'm pulled over or whatever, there's a bit of evidence about what's said. However, you should make passengers aware, if they're in the car, that you're recording audio. This setting we're not going to go into, because I really understand the point of it. Essentially, it will just take a photograph if you push the button, but obviously you really shouldn't be doing that while you're driving along. So like I said, I'm not quite sure what that's all about. This is what your sort of home menu looks like. So you've got the input from the two cameras. Record is what we're just in. Playback will open your files on the SD card. The SD card's currently out of this one because I want to get some of the videos onto the computer so that you can see what they look like. But that essentially allows you to go through previously recorded videos if you want. And then you've got a second settings menu. So I'm just going to switch hands here. Okay, so you've got your screensaver, auto off, so at the moment this is set to automatically switch off after a minute when the power is removed, and it does have an internal battery. And I must say the internal battery on this is vastly better than the one in the 7-inch monitor in my experience. Frequency, this is light frequency, so whether it's recording at 50 Hz or 60 Hz, I see no reason not to leave it on the highest setting, to be honest. It gives you a smoother picture, right? Key sounds, turn this off. It's just a really annoying thing that every time you press a button it beeps at you otherwise. Language, time, date are self-explanatory. License, this allows you to enter the registration number of your vehicle. So if you want that as a timestamp on the videos, that's how you go ahead and do it. Format, formats the SD card that's in there. Reset goes back to factory settings. And version just tells you what software's in there. So if we go back to the cameras, the other thing to point out is you can switch between them. So as well as a forward-facing dash cam, you also have the rear camera, which acts as a backup camera. Now you can set it up, and we'll talk about this in a second, so that it automatically goes to the rear view mode when you put the car in reverse. I'm personally not a fan of that if the camera is internally mounted, because the camera has lights on it, and I find that the light, at night you just get a reflection of the light, and the mirror's not much use at all at that point. However, if you've got the camera mounted externally, it might well be worth something you want to do. Okay, but to switch through them, there's this little circle button here, but I find you can press anywhere really. So this will give you a split screen mode between front and back. This is just front, this is just back, and this is both. Now, it doesn't record as you see here, it records both images as two completely separate files, so you don't have to have this compromise where part of your image is covered over, or your images are slightly squashed and distorted. It records them as two full files. Okay, so let's just have a look outside the vehicle now. I'm going to show you how this is fitted to the camera, to the mirror, and also show you how I've done the rear view camera for now. And you can see quite clearly that you've got the two bands, and these clip onto hooks on the top of the dash cam and go around the back of the mirror and hold it all in place, and they seem perfectly secure to me. I've not had any problems. And then you can see over there also you've got the camera itself, and that camera is movable if you want to adjust it for position on the road. So now we'll go around the back of the vehicle, and you can see the camera is mounted into the inside of the boot. So I'll just go ahead, open it up. So what I've done for now, and this is a slightly temporary fix, just while Mum decides whether she wants to keep it in the vehicle or not, but the wire is ducted through these seals. It then hangs here, and that's well out of the way of the driver's view, and that just allows the boot to open and close. And then for now I've got the tape, but there are clips included in the box, so if she decides she wants to keep it, I can put some neat clips on here so it will look a lot better. And then here you've got the camera itself, which, there we go. So you've got the little lens in the middle, and then the 4 LED lights around it, and it's secured using a sticky pad that's included in the kit. So that's how the camera goes together. To mention this red cable, which comes out of the back of the camera. The idea of this red cable is that you plug it into the power for the reversing light. So what you could do is you could duct it up under this panel here. Obviously when the car's put in reverse, the reversing light comes on, and the camera would automatically detect that. It would turn on, it would also turn on these LEDs, and you would get a picture in the rearview mirror of what's behind you, and it also overlays some lines to sort of give you an idea of where the vehicle's going. The only thing left to do now is to show you some videos from the 2 cameras, both shot at daytime and nighttime. I hope this has been useful, and if you want to look at more cameras, we have some reviews on bestvehiclebackupcameras.com, and if you're interested in buying this 8-inch rearview mirror from Toguard, then we've got links to where you can buy it from Amazon in the UK and US in the video description. I hope it's been useful. Thank you very much for watching.